And this is breaking news with the centre coming down heavily as far as the violence in Bengal is concerned, with the Calcutta High Court listening to the petitions. Now, this is as far as the deployment of the paramilitary forces are concerned. That will continue. Do remember, it was coming to an end today in Murshidabad. But the centre has now, in fact, said to the High Court that 17 companies have been deployed. And the centre has gone on to say that the deployment has been across sensitive districts and while seeking deployment in other areas as well. Saurabh joining us. Saurabh, take us through what's really happened in court.
Well, the court, of course, has been hearing, the petitions, a host of petitions filed by several individuals. In fact, one of the things is that what the court has said is that it will, of course, it's also, the court has also heard the centre's submissions, and the centre has said that NIA Act automatically puts any blast case for the NIA probe suo motu. So when the judge asked, is the centre seeking an NIA probe or not, the centre's counsel said, we are waiting upon your order to begin an NIA probe. Judge Section 6 of the NIA Act has given you the power to begin probe, giving the sovereignty of the nation in mind. Centre's counsel then told the court that 17 companies have been deployed. There is a serious apprehension in the sensitive part of Murshidabad, and we want to continue deployment of central forces not only in Murshidabad but in other sensitive districts. Now, this is in connection with the violence in Murshidabad, and my colleague Shershi is, of course, sending us all these inputs from inside the court. Shershi is reporting from inside the court, sharing these inputs of the hearing that's going on. In fact, the judge, also asked that, the court also asked that your powers are not limited. You have state to cooperate and deploy, and the BSF is unable to carry out duty because of state affairs. Centre's counsel also made arguments. The NIA counsel is now arguing and saying that we cannot take over the probe. We need instructions from the centre or this court. Now, Suvendu Adhikari's counsel has sought permission to visit Murshidabad. Says Suvendu Adhikari has, submitted this request to the Superintendent of Police. And the West Bengal government has now just begun its submissions. It has submitted a report as ordered by the Calcutta High Court. To submit the report. It has submitted that report in the court.
Right, Saurabh, just stay with us. Let's just listen into what the governor of West Bengal had to say. Well, he is mentioning that this is quite an emotional issue. Let's listen in.
Let me also have a first-hand account of what really happened in the field. That's a reality check which I am doing today. I am also meeting some of the victims who have come to meet me here. After taking the views of all sections of society who are affected, then I will tell you what exactly is the report.
So from your end, is there any possibility or is there any possibility of Bangladeshi link in this incident?
On a sensitive issue like this, I should not be commenting at this stage. See, the nation has very effective machinery to establish link if there is a link. It is not up to me to comment on it now.
Sir, Chief Minister declared compensation to the family, but one of the family, they said their father and brother were chopped and killed. Nobody can bring back their father and brother. So they denied compensation.
See, it's a very emotional issue. I share the sentiments of the family. This is not the time to analyze it threadbare. My sympathies are with the family. I will certainly go there if it is okay with them.
So are you exploring any possibility of imposing or recommending residence rule in the state?
See, these are all constitutional options, I am not the person to decide on that.
So, Human Rights Commission and Women Commission are also coming Murshidabad to investigate the incident.
They are doing their job.
And West Bengal police also formed a 9-member seat to investigate the investigation.
See, any attempt to bring out the truth is welcome.
So, will you visit Murshidabad?
I will.
Well, Saurabh, back with us to get us more on this. We just heard the governor of West Bengal saying that he's headed to Murshidabad in order to get a reality check, calling it a very sensitive issue, while he will be meeting with the families of the victims of the violence that erupted between the 11th and the 12th of this month. Saurabh, back with us. Saurabh, of course, the governor there saying that, it's a very sensitive issue and that he would be pledging his support when it comes to victims of the violence that erupted in the state.
Well, what we also know is that the West Bengal governor, Dr. TV has also sent a report to the center of the situation in Murshidabad after he sent the law. He's also, the BJP has sought the governor's intervention in this matter, and as you know, the courts are also hearing this matter. In fact, as far as an NIA probe is concerned, it's very clear in court the arguments that are taking place. That it says that the NIA counsel has told the court that we cannot take over the probe until there are instructions from the center or the court. At this point, the West Bengal Government Council is also, presenting, some points from the report that has been submitted. It said 315 people have been arrested by the Jongipur district police. 315 people have been arrested by the Jongipur police in connection with the violence in Murshidabad, and also there are more submissions that are being made in court. In fact, my colleague Murshidabad is reporting from the court inside the courtroom. She's sending us these updates as they take place in court, and this has been an ongoing issue. It's also seen a lot of political rhetoric. It's also seen the BJP and the Trinamool take on each other. But at the core of the issue lies the sensitivity of the case, something that the governor also asked for, something that the governor also said, whether there is involvement with someone from the outside, whether there are Bangladeshi integrators involved, something that has been alleged, is all big agencies which establish the governor on his part has sent a report to the center, and in fact the West Bengal government has also sent a high-level police team. In fact, the West Bengal Government Council, as my colleague Murshidabad is reporting from court, has said in court and told the court that the SIT, the Special Investigation Team, has investigated all the cases under Suki and Shamshed Point Police Station in Murshidabad district. Social media has been blocked for spreading misinformation, and internet in the area has been suspended to which is available. That's the latest from my colleague Murshidabad, who is reporting from the court as far as Murshidabad case here is concerned. On the other hand, you heard the governor. The governor is also head to Murshidabad, and also he's sent to report to the center of what we know.
Right. Of course, this comes at a time when the BJP has asked, the governor to intervene in the matter. And, while he has been assuring that nobody will be spared if they take matters into their own hands.
That's something that obviously should be, that's how it should be. That, if someone is taking the law into their own hands, they should be spared. That's something that the government should be iterating. However, these protests have seen some very, bad violence, and that's spilled over also to the national highway. Remember, the national highway is the one that connects North Bengal to South Bengal and Murshidabad and Malda district. In Murshidabad district, we've seen this kind of violence. That one of the reasons also, there was blockage of the national highway. But this is taking place under the Suki and Shamshed police stations, and and that's where, of course, violence cases of violence will be reported from. So obviously, the West Bengal government is making its submissions in court. These are the latest figures that the police are sharing. They have said 315 have been arrested by the Jongipur police district, 224 have been arrested from Murshidabad, 2 from Diamond Harbour, 7 from Chandranagar, and 2 out of 7 who are minor have been granted bail. The West Bengal government has also told that Calcutta High Court situation is under control, and 38 families who had to see have been rehabilitated.
Right. Of course, this at a time where the NIA is saying that they cannot take over the case because they need instructions from the center. But also now the West Bengal government has submitted its report when it comes to violence that erupted in Murshidabad. An SIT has been constituted in order to assist in the investigation. Saurabh, take us through what really has been said in this particular case, given the fact, in that particular report, they're talking about how many arrests have been made and, as to the families that have also been rehabilitated in the process.
One of the things with the Murshidabad violence was the fleeing of families from that area. That is something that the BJP also has raised in, almost headlines, given the fact that that was seen as one of the, sort of impacts or the results of the violence that took place there. Now, the government is saying the families have been rehabilitated. This has come with police presence in the area, but police families, there's an atmosphere of fear. The police presence cannot be permanent, and what happens after that? At this point, so there is a lot of police presence, including census forces, and the arrest figures, as shared by the government itself at High Court, is something that I just read out, as my colleague Shreyoshi from reports from inside the courtroom. So obviously, this is something that we're hearing at this point, and being out, as far as the Murshidabad violence is concerned.
A lot of social media is blocked for spreading misinformation, and internet services will remain suspended at least till tomorrow.
Yes, till 18th is what the court has been told, and therefore it will remain blocked till actually, that depends on the administration. The administration can always issue orders and extend the blockade of social media. That would contribute to, the whole issue of further violence. So obviously, that is something that will be an ongoing issue. That's something that the administration, the situation will decide. So in that context, you're seeing, the state government also try to put a stand, put forward a stand and explain to the High Court what actually is taken.
Right. Of course, Saurabh, the NIA is waiting for instructions to come from the centre before they can take charge of the case as is being demanded. But also take us through, in regard to this particular case, of course, it is the leader of opposition seeking to be able to visit the violence-hit area of Murshidabad.
Yes, in fact, we told the court that we submitted an application to the superintendent of police of the district because he wants to go and visit the families. The police usually, in cases like this, block political visits. That's a very common thing to do. When there are areas that are, sensitive and have just been violent. So in that context, yes, the police have blocked political visits, which is why the leader of opposition was also,
Right.